And now for the Q&A.
Here is a question from Walter.
Hi, Walter.
Walter says, I am 26 years old and married with 2 older kids, 15 and 8, both new to me, so stepsons, and a baby on the way. Since graduating college in 2018, I have become roughly 100 pounds overweight, and I have struggled since then with being consistent in the gym and with my diet. I know you don't like the word cheat meal, but how often would you recommend the average person allows themselves to veer from their diet to keep a sense of sanity and avoid binging?
To me, that meal, a cheat meal, is binging. So it's not avoiding binging. It is binging. So, again, these ideas I do not think are particularly universal. So when Walter says cheat meal, maybe he just means one Big Mac at McDonald's. There's nothing about that sounds fun to me. I would want a Big Mac and possibly a second Big Mac and fries and, all the sauces for the fries, which I would wind up putting on the Big Mac, and some chicken nuggets. And that's binging. And so when I think about cheat meals, I think of that it's such a departure from what I'm doing and the goals I've set for me. And like, I don't know that it's going to necessarily be the same for a guy who put on 100 pounds in 4 years, who could easily take that 100 pounds off in less than 4 years, that they have to radically change their life. My issues were a lifetime of issues. They weren't something that acutely occurred. Like he said this was post-college or during college. I know
this
he
is
mentioned
post-graduating from college.
Post-graduating from college. So really, Walter, I would suggest like just go back to what you were doing in college before this started and just kind of try to squeeze that back into your life and be a little bit more restrictive to get the weight off. Because if you put on 100 pounds in 4 years, which really 2018 is technically 5 years ago now, right? Mm-hmm. Depending on the month. Like what happened? What occurred? How did your life change? Are you just sitting in an office and eating office food? What is the different thing that you're doing? You can't change nothing and gain 100 pounds in 4 years. Something must have changed. So my suggestion to you would be to go back to however you were existing before you gained this weight and try to exist more that way now. For somebody with a lifetime of struggle who's done many diets and lost weight and gained weight back, that's a little bit of a different story. And that was my experience. And I just go like, I'm trying to understand what Walter's life was like prior to him gaining weight. You know what I mean? Like, how do I have this normal relationship with food where sorry, this is awful. Really embarrassing. I silenced it. Sorry, Paige. Sorry, Walter. How do I figure out what a normal relationship with food is? And so to me, a cheat meal is an entire pizza and chicken wings and, the antipasta salad, heavy on salami and cheese and, a couple root beers. Like that's not something I really have any interest in doing anymore because it's a part of my life that was really awful. So I'll have a bite or a slice of pizza every now and again. Pizza's not it's not like a line of cocaine where there's like a hard line that I do not cross. For me, the thing that I do not cross is doing stuff in secret. I could never sit and have my wife or children watch me eat an entire pizza and wings and maybe a hero sub, a meatball sub or a chicken parm sandwich. It would just, I couldn't do that. That's something I want to do by myself. And so that's my hard line. My hard line is stuff that if I can't do it in front of my wife, it's never, I don't do it. It's not something that's ever on the table. I can have a piece of pizza in front of my wife. I can even eat, a small personal size pizza in front of my wife. It's extraordinarily rare that I'll do that. I would say in the last 2 years, that's happened once. And then, I didn't eat pizza again for a long time, and that was fine with me. But it wasn't a cheat meal for me might not be a cheat meal for you. And, what are we talking about here? For me, a cheat meal is binge eating. And so I don't do that anymore. Anything, I want my calories per day. Like if I'm going to, I want to keep them roughly the same. So I'm never going to have 10,000 calories in a day or even 5,000 calories in a day. Maintenance for me is like 3,500 calories. So I'm never going to exceed that. If I'm having pizza or Thanksgiving dinner, I'm eating a little bit less earlier on in the day and having a big meal at night. And that's how I do that. But pretty much I'm not making restrictions in food types while doing that. Although eating those kinds of foods are incredibly rare. If you're on a diet, I don't think it's ever a good idea to have a quote unquote cheat meal while dieting. Dieting is a fixed period of time. And I don't believe diets have to be so stressful that you need to blow off steam by eating. So no part of a cheat meal really makes sense to me. I'm trying to change my lifestyle. And for a guy who gained 100 pounds in 4 years, I would say change your lifestyle back to whatever it was before you gained that weight. How were you eating and how much activity were you getting, and try to figure that out. If you used to do sports and now you're in an office, maybe you just need to eat a little bit less and eat foods that fill you up a little bit more, that are lower in caloric volume. That's my answer. I hope that's acceptable.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Thank you for that. And if you have a question that you'd like Ethan to answer, you can email it to us at americanglutton.net.